right. Well, hey to my two favorite brothers.
What's up?
Hey. Uh, this is the fifth Q&A I've done this week. But
Oh,
like,
wow.
Wow.
yeah, but like 13th overall since we've been in this social distancing, shelter in place, whatever, for small businesses. So
You're killing it.
I'm so tired because I'm having to edit my own videos. And you see I
Oh,
put like
wow.
little vacation
I
background.
love the backdrop.
we have to up our game now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Sean actually from K104 taught me how to do this. So I have
Oh,
to give
cool.
him credit. He's actually kind of smart. So don't,
Nice.
don't let
Nice.
the comedic jokes fool you. But no, but I'm so excited to have you guys on. I'm one of those people where I watch people from afar. I can't always like and comment and share because too many of y'all are doing too much, including myself.
Right.
But like, I feel like out of everybody that's doing it, you guys are just killing it. And I could be wrong. The numbers could show something completely different. But from social media to the way you guys are constantly coming up with new things in the midst of everybody just putting out negativity and negative things about our food industry, the hospitality industry, I just feel like you guys are such a positive force. And so what I wanted to do was bring you guys on so that I can upload this content to show everybody, like, this is what happens when you're creative and when you engage with your customer. And I think you guys are creative. Now, look, one of you guys may be the real mastermind, or maybe there's somebody else. But
Oh.
but for those that may be on that don't know you guys, can you just introduce yourselves and then we'll just get into it?
Cool. I'm Brent Reaves,
I'm Juan Reaves,
and we are the co-owners of Smokey John's BBQ.
second generation owners. Our dad was Smokey John, and now we're trying to keep the dream alive.
Absolutely. We've been in business now. I will be 44 years in August.
Yep.
Oh, yay!
Yes.
Claps
Yes.
all around.
Yeah.
That's
That is
amazing.
so awesome.
Yeah.
I think one of the cool thing is, like, I just got on you guys' team. Like, I'm on the team. Let's just put that.
Hey, why not?
I
Believe
love
that.
it.
Love
My
it.
hips and everything else about me says I'm on the Smokey John's team, and I'm
Nice.
excited
Great.
about it. But when I was introduced to you guys, I was made aware that there was a tragic time that you guys endured a fire to the restaurant, and then there was this gap of time between there, before you guys were able to reopen again. So can you just tell us a little bit about what happened so that we can kind of put some things into perspective?
Yeah, so we had a really tragic fire, actually,
But what made the fire so tragic was we really took over the business like full-fledged 100% in like 2013
Yeah.
and started building it up. And each year we were growing with like 25, 30%.
Yeah, so from 2012, we tripled the gross sales of the company from what our dad had.
So by 2017.
Mm-hmm.
We're in 2017 having a record year, and then we had the fire 2 weeks before the state fair, and we have booths at the state fair in Texas.
Yeah.
So it was devastating.
Yeah. So we do all of our prep, all of our planning.
Right.
Everything comes out of the restaurant. So 2 weeks before the state fair, our production kitchen, source of income, everything
stopped.
stopped.
Now the one good thing was we were ahead of the game on cooking some of our items. We had prepped a lot of tamales. We had a lot of things done. We actually had a lot of brisket, a lot of barbecue sauce, a lot of things cooked up to be ready for the fair. But we had to scramble and find a kitchen. Ended up finding 2 kitchens so we could keep it going. And we got through the fair, and then we kept catering going while we tried to figure out how to get our business back, because the fire it was a complete total remodel. It was
so just got to add, in the midst of this devastating fire, we had about $75,000 in catering that was booked.
Yeah.
One of those events was Guy Fieri that we had.
Yeah, it was actually Carnival Cruise Lines. Guy Fieri is a spokesperson for Carnival Cruise Lines, and we had agreed to. We started off agreeing to cater a meal for them, and it turned into that we did the whole production setup. Like we did the kitchen for their event that they did. We did a state. We didn't just cater for the media. We actually created a whole setting, backdrop. So we had to do all that while we were doing the fair
with no restaurant.
Yeah. And then the following week, after we did the Guy Fieri meal, the following week we shot a TV show for Food Channel.
Yeah.
So what kept you guys grounded? Obviously, family. You have each other. I know you guys are heavy in faith, but I mean, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot to deal with back to back to back. The average person would say, you know what, I give up. And oh, by the way, you guys have employees.
Yep.
You go home every night with the weight of, I've got to keep people employed because now they have families. So I mean, how did you guys?
Everything you're saying is true.
Some people might think it's an absence of recognizing reality. We're just like knuckleheads.
Yeah.
But we really I think it was devastating. It was challenging, and we talked a little bit about this on our Facebook page the other night. But it's a matter of, we realized we grew up with we were very educated in our faith, so to speak. And I think a lot of people know you grow up in certain families and you might learn the word and learn Bible and all that. But then there's a point in your life where you get to test what you believe.
You actually have to use it. Oh my
God. Yes. Yes.
So
it's not a t-shirt.
No. And I think that's where we had to put to the test what we said we were about and what we believed. And it was hard, but the fortunate thing is we have each other.
Yeah.
A lot of business owners, you have a spouse or another person, but we have we're brothers who are partners. And, I think when I was down, he would pick me up and hopefully vice versa. And then we just prayed about it. And once we once the smoke cleared, so to speak.
Right. True.
We just we had to look around and go, okay, what can we do? How can we make this work? What are our options? And, we got a couple kitchens. We kept our key clients, our key catering clients, some of the bigger ones, because we were able to do an event for Southwest Airlines. It's about a $25,000 event that we did for them. We did our stuff during the fair, and we just kept plugging along.
Yeah.
And we had people praying for us, and lots of people reached out to help us, and we didn't always know how to use their help. We made some mistakes.
Yeah, we made a lot of mistakes. But I think the other thing is, we're weird, so.
And I know it's you running social media.
It's all of us because we're all weird. Yeah. It's because, Leah, I think the thing is, our dad
was a character.
He's a character, but he's also a crisis guy. Mm-hmm. He's truly he thrives on crisis.
His gifting was solutions in crisis.
Oh my God. So we kind of we honestly got that from him.
We got that from him, but we also got that. The blessing that we got from him was the lesson of when you're in a crisis, you have a choice. You can panic and sink, or you can hustle and figure something out.
And he's a hustler.
And he was a hustler.
Straight up.
The problem with him was he liked to operate in crisis when there wasn't one.
When there wasn't one.
we learned that we didn't like that.
No.
So we try to balance the two. We try not to create crisis, but when we've had to deal with them, we relied on that muscle, on that gene, that trait from our dad to figure it out and get our hustle on.
So now you guys, you get out of one thing, right? You get everything back rolling again. You reopen. It's great. Business is good. And now we have COVID-19. And you get, what is going through your minds? Okay, can I have a break?
Right.
Well, we had such a good 2019.
So this is the bad thing, right? Not bad thing, but this is funny. So 2017 was we were truly in the midst of a record-breaking year.
Record-breaking year.
We were going to smash it. So 2019 was a record-breaking year.
It's we picked up and we were fast forward from what we had going in 2017.
Everything that during the fire. So just to set you up, during the fire, what our thought was, okay, if we stay connected to our people, our core, our fans, our base, people who love Smokey John's, if we stay connected to them and stay in front, hopefully it would carry as we open up in 2019. Okay, great. That worked.
That works.
So guess what? Since we've been through the fire, when this whole COVID-19 thing hit, we talked to each other. We were like, okay, so
Going back to
let's
survival
go back
mode.
to survival mode. And the truth is, I don't know if you remember this. I told this to Daniel Vaughn the other day. So we did an event years ago with our dad. We were doing some kind of carnival
When I was
event.
reading the article, I remember that.
You remember that? We're doing this event a long time ago. And like nobody was buying any food for us for this carnival, nothing. And so our dad was like, "You just gonna sit here and just like wait for somebody to buy food?
Yeah,
or you
that's what we're
gonna
here for.
take some food out into the crowd and like let them try it?" And I was like, "Man, Pop, that's crazy." He's like, "Just do what I said." So we were like passing out these pieces of rib in the crowd. All of a sudden, these people started coming to our booth,
Yep.
like, and everybody else was dead, and then we now have a line, and we're selling ribs like crazy. So we looked at each other like this time. It was like, guess we better go back to the crowd again.
We gotta go back to the grassroots, get our hustle on.
Yeah,
And that's the key, right? You said it right there, grassroots. It really doesn't take a lot. I mean, you think that would be common sense to, okay, have them try the food, that plus that equals this, versus, you know, maybe making it more difficult than what it really has to be.
yeah,
Well, I think the key that we learned is you can always look at situations. You can take two perspectives. You can decide that it's insurmountable, or you can decide that you're going to try something. And if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. And I think we're not afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm.
We've had our challenges. We've made some decisions that weren't great.
Really not good. Really not good.
We've both had days where we're like, say, bro.
Y'all say that one more time. I'm gonna be like, well, let's talk about it.
Right.
Put it out on the table. This is therapy. Let's go.
Yeah, we've had some bad ones. Like we've lost some money and made some decisions that cost us money.
A lot of money.
Yeah, so we've been down that road. But once and I think you hear this from anybody who's had any success. Anyone who's had success has failed before they had their success, or in the process of getting to that process. And I think once you accept that, then it's not about, oh, I failed, I got to quit. It's like, okay, that didn't work. That's a relief. We'll scratch that. Let's go on to find the next thing that's going to work. And that's kind of, I mean, with this COVID situation, we just kind of went back to, okay, let's regroup. First of all, you know, no one knows what's going to happen.
Right.
We were happy to find out that we were going to be essential businesses.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and then once we realized that was an opportunity, then we just kind of figured out different ways to reach out to the people that would already like us.
Yeah.
And we've had the fortune of finding people that don't even know us or learning about us through some of the media and some of the things that have happened. So.
Yep.
Rochelle says, always try to find the pivot if something doesn't work. Refreshing to hear that such an established business does the same thing. Yeah, I think that's the most comforting thing, is that during this crisis, no one is way better off than any person.
No.
One wrong turn or decision, you're constantly having to figure out, does this work? Does that work? And then next week, new regulations will come down where they tell you, oh,
exactly.
You can't take it to our cars. So then you guys have to get together and figure out, well, what Smokey John's gonna do.
Exactly.
Maybe
long
we
as
gotta
they
put it in the air, and it's like there's like this magnetic thing that it's.
Yep.
I don't know.
We do air balloons. We'll
got it.
We'll send it.
We don't care.
As long as we know the rules.
Drop from the sky.
That's right.
Fill it back in.
That's right. That's right. And that's the funny thing through this whole situation is that, and you know this with marketing, I think half of the problem you try to figure out is, okay, so where's my customer?
Yeah.
Where are they? The beauty of this situation is we know where they are. They're at home. So it makes it really, to us, it's easy.
It's like,
they're
okay,
at home.
we know they're at home. So what have we done? How have we addressed them being at home? We created a delivery program.
Right.
Because we know that we've been around a long time, but we are not in like a neighborhood. We're not, our main location is not, it's not a hot spot where people always go. So mainly people know us because they work in the area, or they used to work in the area and now they've moved, but when they come, or they come through the airport. And that's
Airport or hospital.
Obviously the airport's not doing a whole lot of traffic these days. The hospital's not doing the same traffic that it normally does. So that affects the people coming in the doors. So we've really focused on how we can get the food to their doors.
Yeah.
And so we created a delivery program, and then that's kind of taken off. And now we're just kind of like you said earlier, we're bobbing and weaving. We're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And as the other part of what we try to do, as Brent mentioned before, is just staying connected. The same strategy we had when we were down, we've kind of taken it up a notch, and we're doing these Facebook Lives every night.
I know.
And sometimes it's fun and funny. Sometimes it's just informational. The other night it was kind of sharing, hopefully inspiring a little bit. But we're just using that to let people know, hey, update them. Hey, we're here. We're still going through. We're still fighting. Here's what we have today. And we've created new packages and different things to help people while they're at home. And so far, it's working. And we're still here. Lights are still on.
Separates you guys from the pack, in my opinion, because I monitor a lot of smaller businesses that you guys just get on there, you do your lives, and I'm telling you, I know that's you on social, Brent. Doing great stuff on Twitter and then making these goofy videos on Instagram. So there's like this human element to it where people are like, even if I haven't tried the food, like they're goofy, like they're just like me,
There you go.
It's the entertainment during this really, really, tough time. So I think that's something to be said. And I should tell Goldman Sachs that y'all should be running the social media workshop.
Oh man.
The conference next year, not me. I'm gonna put y'all up for it. But tell people, I mean, do y'all even have a strategy, or is it I'm just going online today?
Honestly, I think when we first started, a lot of times it's just off the top of our head, but we now try to be respectful of people's time and our time, because we have wives at home and I have kids at home, so we try not to spend the whole night. But yeah, we don't script anything, but we have an idea of what we want to make sure we touch on these 2 or 3 things, and then we want to interact. So we let the audience kind of direct it a little bit, and we respond to it. But we always want to get a certain message out, whether it's what the special is, it's an update, what's coming up, what we've heard, and then we kind of let the rest of it be spontaneous.
And one of the cool things, it's funny, from when we first started, it's interesting how a small business grows, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I personally learned was, at some point you're going to have to invest in your business,
right?
And you have to take these incremental leaps into your business, right? And so I think one of the times that really made a big difference for us was, like you, I kind of watch people and how they do their social media thing. So we were watching one of our team members' husband, like his social media page was really funny. So we were like, man,
what's going on with that?
What are you doing, man? What's going on? So we added him to the team about 2 years ago. And that really
game changer.
Because
now we have a professional, basically social media guy. And what works really well is he gets us.
Yes,
he gets our goofiness.
Humor.
he knows our vibe. He understands our message.
Yeah.
He helps us stay on point as far as message. And he joins us sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And I had one lady say that he should be a regular on our evening lives because she likes the banter that goes among the 3 of us. So.
Yeah. So that makes a difference. I mean, you've gotta go ahead and take the leap sometimes and spend a little extra money,
But it's investing. I mean, you said the word.
You gotta do it.
It's not like we're out, let's see, we can drop some money on something, but it's really, and we can clearly point to the increase and the following and the support. So it's truly, we can see the return on our investment without a doubt.
Yeah, and that's
we have more fun too.
Too was like, if you felt like you can measure, right, in terms of dollars even, or growth,
right,
how much being on social media has impacted your business. Because sometimes, just being a marketer myself, we're the last people that are even considered to get paid. It's like, can I pay you $250? No. These are startups, and it's like, no, you have to have an actual marketing budget. Is really important, but a lot of businesses and startups don't budget for it at all.
Right.
Well, it's the way our parents, like when we first got involved, our parents spent no money on marketing and advertising or anything. But part of that was Dad's business partners when he first started were Dallas Cowboys. So working with Drew Pearson, Harvey Martin, it's like he got publicity just for the relationship.
Right.
So they got spoiled by that. When those guys retire and they're not as in the forefront and they're not as involved with the business, they never did anything to replace that. We figured out that social media is our connection. And then, with our success that we've had at the fair, making relationships with different media outlets, we've done a lot of stuff with certain broadcasters on the radio and on TV. Now we're kind of branching out. So we have connections and relationships. And what's great is they're not just connections. They're not like, hey, I know this guy, I'll call him. These people, we listen to them on the radio, watch them on TV, and they actually come here and eat when there's nothing going on. And that's really cool. I think we're building real relationships with people in the community. And it's a lot like what Dad had going. Ours is, at this point, it is strategic. It is intentional in what we try to do. When you say that.
Has there been anything that you guys have done so far that, like you said, you guys are kind of just putting stuff out there, maybe getting a little crazy and weird with it. Was there anything that you did that just actually stuck and you were like, holy crap, that really worked?
Almost everything.
Social media wise, okay, I tell you one thing that worked, and you talked about it, Leah, that I just didn't think. I thought this was just stupid. It made me laugh. So
it made me laugh.
Right.
But
so what?
And we're a tough audience to laugh.
Yeah. So I was playing around with the Snapchat filters one day, and I was like, you know what? This is funny. Why don't I just do this and like see what happens? So I showed it to Juan and to Marcus. Marcus is our social media guy, and they both just laughed so hard. I was like, is this really serious? And then so people would learn the specials based off of that little crazy cheerleader.
That was me. that was like right before, I was going in and everything and doing all of the media events and everything, but that's when I really started paying attention to you guys. And I was getting it, and I'm like, they are nuts. These little legs were
Oh yeah, I've been trying to get him. I've offered to buy him a suit, an actual cheerleader outfit, so we can do some live versions of that.
Not gonna work
because there's a lot of people that would love to see the cheerleader come back.
Not gonna happen.
Y'all gonna do some TikTok? Are y'all gonna do the?
Yeah, that's coming up. Oh yeah, God. TikTok's coming up. We got some more Snapchat things going, and then we're in a couple of weeks getting ready to shoot actually our own video. So we've got some video ideas that we're going to start doing.
Right.
Potential TV show concepts.
Yeah.
So. Look at you guys. Well, I'm glad I'm getting my interview in before I get denied.
Whatever.
No.
Hey,
never.
No, never.
Yeah. What? I'm sorry, Oprah. Leah's coming on. Oprah, we'll call you back. Leah's here.
That's so funny. Is there any other things that you guys can think of that can encourage small businesses at this time? I know that particularly hospitality, the restaurant industry got hit really, really hard. And you guys are just, like you said, you're in it, but you're making these shifts every single day. What can you say to these guys that need to hear a word?
I think one thing that's hard, and this is a hard thing to say, but it's honest, is what has helped us is we already had something going. So it's if you haven't already had something going and all of a sudden in this time, it's going to be hard. It's going to be because it's not like you can go door to door. You can't do the old school grassroots to get people to pay attention. You've got to. I would encourage people to think about really who your customer is, how were you getting them before, and then based on that, like, okay, where are they now? Where are those people now? We kind of already had gone through that with our fire situation. So for us, it was like, we kind of know where our customers are. We know where they are. Here's what we got to do. But we already had a platform. We already had a lot of social media going. We already had some things. We just cranked it up a notch. If you didn't already have the oven on, it's hard to get it hot right now, given if you didn't have something already started. But I would say is if you think that's a dumb idea, let yourself be proven that it's a dumb idea. Yeah. Like prove it, like try it. And because what I do know is doing nothing will get you absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I think the other thing is that I think the young lady said something earlier, but people are afraid to pivot.
Yeah.
I think they're like, well, this is what I do, so I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to get stuck with this, and we're going to make sure this sells, and that's it. And so it's like, okay, well, you might have to change something. Like one of the things we started doing is like the brisket queso. No,
Yes.
no clue that brisket queso was gonna go so nuts. Like
You're
people
in
are
Texas. That's barbecue and queso.
exactly.
Two out of the 5 main food groups
Yes.
together.
Exactly.
But even then, it's like it's gone further than we thought
Way
because
further.
we've created something around it, right? We took something like, you're right, it sounds good. It was great for the Super Bowl party, but now like why would you want to get it just on a Thursday?
Right.
Or why would you get it just on a Saturday? And we've kind of pushed it that way, and it's working.
And the reason why it works so well right now is because again, people are just at home blowing through
Right.
Netflix, Hulu. I mean, they are blowing through movies.
They're streaming everything.
They're streaming through everything, and it's like it's a good just sit and watch TV. You know, it's comfort food. You know.
And
Now
apparently,
that we
for
didn't
some
know.
people, we've learned it's breakfast.
Right.
Oh, look, Rochelle says she's going to come by and try it once we're out of quarantine. She works down the street from you guys.
All right.
Tell us
She can come now.
If
if she's going into work, she can come. And if she lives in one of the neighborhoods that we deliver to, we'll bring it to her.
Absolutely.
We delivered quite a few brisket quesos yesterday.
Oh yeah.
But let's kind of talk about some of those things because I've seen you guys drop certain, and hey, Bree's gonna laugh because I actually did an Instagram story where I was like, if somebody says the word pivot one more time, I'm gonna just pull my hair out.
Oh, yes.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Pivot.
I just used it because she used it.
No, but we love you
It's
too.
a good word though because we're sports fans, so it's a good
Yeah.
basketball term.
No, but that's what I said. Then you could ask her. I said, look, if somebody wants to talk about a basketball pivot,
Right.
now. All this other stuff, let's get our thesaurus and find another word. But it's fine.
Indeed.
So brisket queso, but there was other things that I've seen you guys do, like that I thought was genius. So the delivery per area.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
That has probably been the game changer that we,
Who thought of that? Who's the mastermind?
Honestly, so here's the thing. We both thought of it and independently and then came to talk about it. He was like, hey, I think we need to start going to neighborhoods. And I'm like, dude, I was going to tell you the same thing because we know because of where we are located, so many of our customers don't live in this area, but they work in this area. Mm-hmm. And we always have people saying, you guys need to build another store in Frisco. You need to bring something to Oak Cliff to the south side. So we're like, okay, here's our chance to do a little market research. And figure out where is our next customer base? Who is really interested? Who will support us if we're willing to bring it to you? And so we figured out what it was worth for us to financially to do free delivery.
That I think that's a very key point. Is it's like what is it worth to us first?
Right.
And then what's gonna be actually a deal?
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes you get something that's like, oh, it's a deal and it's $75. That's not a deal.
But yeah, so we definitely want it to be a win-win. Right. We wanted it to be, it's worth our time and effort and interest, but it's also something that people really want.
Yes.
And so we came up with a kind of a price point that would say if you spend a minimum $40, it's worth it for us if we can get 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
And we'll go out in that neighborhood. We'll send one driver. And we'll give a window. We do the thing like, if you're calling like the cable company where, we'll say we're coming between 1 and 4. We'll call you when we're about 15, 20 minutes out. They'll let you know we're about to be there. And so far, we obviously underestimated our reach.
We didn't. We had no clue that people were really going to want to do this.
Week 1, we had an internal deal of over under. I was thinking we could get to 30. Mm-hmm. He was thinking we could get to 20. And then we ended up doing 64 the first week.
We got to start doing bets, like fun bets.
I know, right?
Good, clean fun bets.
Man.
We're definitely not going to be setting any odds in Vegas. That's for sure.
I think the other thing we got to listen to is listen to our team. So Delilah Thomas of Starving on a Budget.
Yep.
Is part of the team, but she's always like, y'all, it's going to work. And we're like, well, we don't know. She's like, whatever. If y'all do, it's going to work. Yeah, Marcus
he's probably even more animate about, if you guys do it, it's going to work. And we're like, we don't know. We'll try it.
it allowed you guys to employ more people? Because now with a delivery system, you have drivers.
Yeah. So we,
awesome.
Yeah, we have a couple. We have a part-time driver. We have a full-time driver, and we've got a couple guys that can be drivers. We pretty much haven't laid anyone off. We have a few people that are staying out for health purposes for their own decision, but we haven't asked them to stay off. We did kind of slow the hours down. We're having shared hours, so no one person was taking the brunt of the loss of hours. But we got this. We were featured on Channel 4 or Fox 4 in a story, and that kind of triggered a whole new response of traffic for us.
Yeah.
And apparently they keep running the story or segments of it.
And now commercials.
And I think they've got like a highlight reel of other businesses that they've done. And apparently we keep popping up because almost every other day someone's saying they saw us. And we're like, oh yeah, last week. They're like, no, this morning. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
And that's how it's making a difference. It's truly making a difference.
And that's the faith part, right? So it's like
yeah.
One of the scriptures I think that for some reason we forget is faith without works is dead.
Yep.
So it's like you got to put legs to your prayer, right? It's like when you do something, we feel like God does something too, right?
It's a collaboration.
Absolutely.
And one of the guys that I follow a lot, he talks all the time about your faith is a collaboration with God. It's not you sitting up there waiting on him to do everything.
Right.
He's given us some gifts and talents, put them to work, and then we trust that he can. He waters it, it's going to magnify. It's like, it's the water to wine situation. We do a little something. Hey, you go fill up the jugs. He makes it the best wine you've ever had.
Indeed.
We don't have anything to do with that part. And same with the things we've done. It's like, we're just trying it. We'll throw it out there. And if he blesses it, come on.
He blessed the cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? That's just some weird stuff.
That was weird.
It's so weird.
It's so weird.
I'm telling you, it was the weirdest thing I ever saw, but I couldn't stop watching it. I was popping up again, and I'm thinking, who is coming up with this? Like, who's doing this? Like, it's almost addictive in like a little way where you wait for the little cheerleader to pop up again. So I haven't seen it in a while. So
we have to bring it back. I've been working on him, if not bringing it back, to revive it in a new format.
We got some more coming out.
So what are you guys' advice? Because we're talking about faith without works is dead. So that's always faith plus action, right? And a lot of people have gotten really hit hard, some smaller businesses. And so maybe they have the faith part, but they can't get over that hump or something mentally or a mindset where they can put the action because they just feel so down, or maybe, they're depressed about the situation. So how do you guys keep yourselves motivated and going, kind of knowing that every day it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a grind, it's going to be a hustle?
I think, and I think anybody who's ever started a business, you're going to go through that part where you're going to make a decision that you really believe in what you're doing or not. Like, I think everybody gets in this point where you really could quit. I mean, there's no one that I've ever talked to that has never experienced, like, you know what?
That's my dog sneezing, by the way.
I didn't even hear it.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
I'm so sorry.
No worries. But I think you face the decision to quit or not.
Right.
You're always that choice is, you're always, and the reality is you can always go get a job. That's just can be in the back, but that's something that's in your mind that you can go do it, or you can believe in yourself and see it all the way through and see what happens.
Right.
It's like for us, when you have that faith, it's like God seems to be somewhat Superman-like. He likes to wait till 2 feet before you hit the ground to come through.
I say this all the time. They're like, God is such an on-time God. I'm like, yeah, he waits to like 0.0006 seconds.
Absolutely.
Before you need the rent check.
Yes.
Where it hits your account.
Right.
Hey.
Oh, been there.
Hey.
Been there.
It's real talk.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey.
We've seen it where you're like payroll is Wednesday.
If I had to pay it today, there is no payroll.
We're in trouble, but it's like he always like 2-3 feet from the ground got you, you know, and it's like you're gonna face that.
Yep.
To be honest, I don't know how people do it that don't have faith. I don't know how that works. I mean, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, if you don't have a faith-based system, it's hard. I can't relate because I'll be honest. If I see situations and I think if I didn't have faith, I would have quit.
Yeah.
Because it's not logical.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
But if you combine what you believe and what's in your heart, that's when you can see, you give yourself the opportunity to see the miracle. And I think so many people, if you don't have that, I mean, we can't put that in you, but if you have it and you're struggling, my advice would be let God prove himself.
Indeed.
Let him prove himself, and he will. And that's not the same thing as like testing God. It's like, that's like someone who walks around with no gloves and no mask right now and like, I'm not getting the COVID because God, I'm blessed.
Right.
Well, that's
Florida somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that, but
Against we shall prosper. Come
there
on.
you go. Yeah.
You didn't say walk into the sword.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not encouraging that, but I do think if you're willing to do everything you can, and when you get to that point where you're like because Brent said we've been there where you're like, is it worth it? Do I really, really want this? Or is this just something that sounds good? And if you get to the point where you're like, I really want this, then I believe if that's what you're called to do, then he's going to deliver. Now, that's a whole nother conversation about if you're actually operating in your calling.
Yeah.
Because you can take that same attitude and you're not in your calling and you're going to fail.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes him allowing you to fail in what you're doing is just guidance.
Yeah.
It's directing you.
That's closing the door.
I'm trying to get you over here. And
Right.
the tail keeps going over here. So
Exactly.
Yeah. That's right. You want to do cupcakes, but you're supposed to be building houses. Okay. Well,
All right.
all
You
right.
can keep making the cupcakes,
But
don't keep coming asking me why you're not, you're
Right.
not prospering.
right.
So.
Well, I just think you guys are awesome. Keep up the amazing work, and I'm excited to share this out and just to encourage people. Like you guys are what they should be watching. Like, okay, here's the standard. Now we we don't know what they're gonna do tomorrow. That's the beauty of it, because you said so yourself, Juan. You said the absence of recognizing reality. So you're pretty much just saying like you guys are just operating into some like free form, supernatural,
Make yourself available.
But it really is belief, though.
Yeah.
You know, it really is like honestly, in my mind, and I'm sure he thinks the same thing. I believe that this is going to work, and there's a vision that I've seen, and so it's like I can't give that up.
Yeah,
I can't. It's like there's quitting. Is like you can't. You believe in it too much.
Right, and there's no. And I think the hard part is if you're not like our wives are the kind of people that are incredibly talented, but they're very organized. They have to know everything. They're very detailed. They like to work out every plan. And what works for us and what we realize is it's part of the way our faith works is we can know what we believe the end result is, but the process, you got to be open.
You got to be open.
You got to be open because if you're not open, you're going to miss it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we would have never said, hey, someone come burn our restaurant down so we can get a nice new restaurant.
I don't think we would have done that.
Never would have ever in our lives thought that was the strategy to go with.
No, that would not have been the route. No.
We survived that.
I like to pass on the fire route.
I mean, completely. I would like to pass on the COVID-19 route.
I would like to pass on
However,
that
we believe on the other side of this, we're trying, we don't know, I can't tell you today what about this whole scenario is going to be the launch pad for the next thing that we do. I don't know what that is. Really don't.
Never know.
But I do believe that it is. I just don't know how. And that's the part where your faith comes in. And people ask how you can be so positive. It's because, you know what? This isn't the first trial.
No.
We've been through some stuff, financial issues. We've been through family issues. We've been through some things. He's always delivered. So why would we stop believing in him today?
Right.
If the problem's bigger, that means the blessing's bigger.
Boom.
Okay. Speaking of, what are your specials?
So we got this is this clown. So if you ever want to figure out like how this works, so Juan is the ideas guy. He'll have about 30,000 of them, right? So one of the special. What'd you say?
What is that?
Visionary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we kind of both are
we're both
visionaries.
visionary.
But I'm just the one that comes. I'm not afraid to say all of the crazy stuff.
Yes.
And then he picks out. If I throw out 30 ideas, he'll pick out 1 or 2 that might work. I have no marriage to any of them. But because if you get too connected to it, then you don't allow it to evolve into what it's supposed to be.
Right.
So I just spit out whatever comes to my head, and then he'll help figure out what works, and then we'll go with it. And that's usually how it works out.
And out of that came the MTOC pack that we're launching tomorrow. MTOC.
Is that an exclusive?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's already out.
It's already out there.
Oh, crap.
Tomorrow's the first day that people can pick up the MTOC pack.
Right. And it's
What is that?
Mama's Tired of Cooking pack. So, and we sold a bunch of them.
We have
Oh, wow.
many of those ordered for tomorrow.
So many orders for tomorrow. We had to stop taking orders at 2:00 today because we couldn't do anymore. So
what's in the pack?
you get a slab of ribs, 2 pounds of brisket, you get a whole chicken, 2 large sides that serve about 8 to 10 people. You get rolls,
Barbecue sauce. And because it's Saturday and it's a pack and we make specials on our Saturday packs, you get triple fudge brownies.
Free brownies.
A
dozen of free brownies.
Oh my God.
And it's $119.
Yeah. So
that's so worth it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
You can feed 10 people.
Again, we were sitting. It was Sunday.
Yeah.
We were on the phone Sunday, social distancing. So
Which is funny when y'all do y'all's lives and you make it very clear. Like, clearly not right now, but you had to.
Right.
Well,
Right.
we're working together anyway. But yeah, so we were sitting on the phone on last Sunday, and we're like going through, and he's like, "Man, we need to do a big pack. We need to." Well, no, it started with me texting you, "Hey, dude, what kind of special are we gonna do for Easter?" And he's like, "I don't know." And ordinarily we would have had this planned out,
Right.
but not again. Once I actually forgot it was Easter.
Yeah.
Because of the whole calendar thing. So once we got going and we started thinking about, okay, it's Easter. So I texted him and said, "Hey, what do you want to do for Easter?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know." So he texted me back. We went back and forth. And then finally he just called me and he's like, we should do something big. Like, let's just see if people will buy a bigger pack. They're all at home. It's a special holiday. That way they'll have leftovers. I'm like, all right. So then we started talking about what's in it. And we went through everything that was in it. And so then I came up with a list of about 20 names.
You did.
No, not really. It was about 8 or 10. And we decided that MTOC was the winner.
Yep.
Appetite Stimulus Pack was my favorite.
Appetite stimulus. That's good too.
Yeah, but MTOC, that seemed to when people find out what that is, they laugh.
Yeah,
so
every
that's
time.
good.
I think that in itself is like small business advice too. Like sometimes you just have to kind of put some stuff out there. Like you said, look, we priced it at this. Let's just see who takes the bait. And I have a friend, I'm trying to get her to come on. She's a photographer and she's now signed with Sony and did some stuff for the Travel Network.
Awesome.
But when she started out, she was charging this one amount. And then one day she woke up and was like, I wonder if I charged $10,000 to do this wedding, like if somebody would pay it. And they did. And she was like,
yes.
What? And her, but I think if you offer something and it's valuable and people trust you and that word of mouth factor, then you don't have to worry about if we put this out there, are people going to buy it? They know what you guys deliver. Like it's easy.
Right.
And we don't want to cook.
Right.
Well, also, I think we're consumers, right? So we eat out. We like to buy food. So we kind of know what a deal is. Yeah. So we figured out a price point that we thought was not only fair, but then we threw a bonus in by throwing the brownies in. Yeah. Like we don't even sell brownies in the restaurant. We're literally making them just for these packs and the specials that we're doing.
And now people want to buy brownies.
Yeah. Now we're not in the brownie business, but they like them. So
just saying. I now may have to try. Well, you're not gonna have it outside of the pack.
No.
That's
Just put me one.
Exclusivity.
now you see how it works.
That's how it works.
Exactly. But I live by myself, so I have to buy $120 worth of food.
No, see, I'm glad you said that. So we have another pack.
We have another deal.
We got another deal. We can do the 23
for the next 15 minutes.
We have someone standing by. No, just for $23.95, you can get a whole chicken, 2 pints of sides, bread, and sauce. And when you order that on Saturdays during the Corona, while we're sheltering in place, when you order that on Saturdays, it comes with a half dozen brownies.
That's right, for free.
Or on a Saturday. Okay, I'm gonna make a
So
little.
that's only $23.95. That's for one person. That's enough that's a couple of meals easily. Maybe 3.
And Rochelle says, and if you buy it now, we'll double your order.
All right, Rochelle, as long as you're paying for the double.
And we'll throw in a cupcake as well.
Well, I want to respect you guys' time. I thank you guys so much for spending your Friday evening, like after a long week with me. I'm here on the beach.
Yeah, lovely.
Love it.
So jealous. That looks like you're doing some good social distancing there too.
Great social. I'm here by myself. You know, I've got my pillow, getting my vitamin D. So, but I seriously thank you guys, and I really think this is going to help so many people, and you're so positive. So I wish you guys nothing but the best. I will be getting my Saturday pack soon.
Cool.
There you go, hey.
Cool. Well, thank you for just giving us the opportunity to be with you because you're one of our favorite people, Leah.
That's right.